Trading during news events can be a goldmine or a disaster. The difference is having a strategy. So ladies and gentlemen, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my favorite approach for trading the news consistently. No guessing, no FOMO. Let's waste no time. Let's jump right into it. When it comes to trading the news, you have two groups of traders. First, you have the avoiders, the traders who just want to avoid the market, they want to avoid the news. And then you have the traders who are the dive right in traders, I call them. And these are traders who are executing as the news is coming out, usually without a plan. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a third group of traders that trade the news from a more consistent standpoint. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing two concepts that will allow you to be a part of this third group. The very first thing we have to take a look at first is, why is trading the news even important? Why is the news important in the currency market, whether you trade futures or whatever? Because the news brings in an increased volatility and liquidity in the market. So if you are a beginner trader coming into the market, there are going to be periods in your trading where you're going to see an increase in spikes, an increase in volume, and you're just going to be like, whoa, what happened? So it's really important that we are able to prepare for these because they happen on a weekly basis. So part of your education as a trader is learning how to effectively trade the news, because if it was something that happened on a monthly basis, fine, no problem, right? You could just avoid that day. But if it's something that happens on a weekly basis, which we do have news coming out on a weekly basis, we have CPI, we have, non-farm employment change, we got FOMC, we have interest rate, we have a lot of news that are spread out usually throughout the month, but end up coming out like weekly, based on the different schedules. So it's really important to learn how to trade it. Now, let's dive into the third group of traders. We're gonna go over to the chart and I'm gonna break down how you can be a part of this third group and the two concepts that you need to focus on in order to trade the news effectively. So let's take a look at the chart here and go over how you can become part of the third group of traders who trade the news with consistency and confidence. The very first concept is becoming a hunter with patience. Patience is the name of the game in trading, especially when it comes to trading the news, because a lot of what ruins a lot of traders' success when it comes to the news is FOMO, the fear of missing out. So it forces us to act before we really have any sort of clarity. And in order for you to eliminate that, you have to start to think like a hunter who is hunting the prey. And you have to understand that you're only going to strike when you have a clear opportunity and you have an understanding of what you're going to do. So let's take a look at the chart here, right? News this week, we had news come out on Wednesday. We had CPI come out on Wednesday, right? So going over here, we can put our separator, right? Session separator here, and this is the 1 minute time frame. So when it comes to trading the news, I usually like to switch over to the 1 minute time frame. Right here, this is Tuesday, and right there, this is Wednesday. So of course, when you come into the market during news, the very first thing you're going to do is your top-down analysis, right? Make sure you have a higher time frame perspective of what is happening, what the trend is, right? Because if buyers are coming into the market on a higher time frame, you want to still look to be a buyer. You still want to stick with the trend regardless of what is happening, right? So, and with gold this week, we have been in a bullish, market overall. Now we have the news coming out, and what you can start to notice here is we have a bit of sideways action that's kind of taking place. And generally, when the market starts to move sideways, or I call it accumulation, you know that the news is going to be packing a punch. It's going to be a high impact news. That's usually one of the ways you know. But if the market starts to move and really run, then you know the news might not pack that much of a punch. So coming into the market, you focus on doing your analysis. When the news is coming out, you switch over to the 1 minute time frame. I prefer that so I can see how things act, especially at 8:30 Eastern when the news comes out. We're taking a look at gold right now, and we can see that the market has been moving sideways since 4 a.m., right? Since the London session. So coming to the New York session right now, we're coming to the market at 7:30. You have to watch, wait, and just say, you know what? You're going to let the market do its thing. So being patient, waiting for the market to just do its thing. The next concept is letting the market make the first move, right? And that's why we wait for the news. So one of the best ways to trade the news effectively and with confidence is clarity. A lot of the time, or even before in my trading journey, I would get involved in a trade because I thought price was going to be going down here, right? We see the market took out this high, and then it came back down and it took out this low. So that means that from a market structure standpoint, we should be going down, right? This is the obvious move, especially when the news is coming out in a few minutes. You're going to get a lot of obvious moves. The market is going to show you things that are so obvious, whether it's a market structure break, whether it's a breakout of some sort that's going to be like, oh my God, this is exactly what I should do. And you get in before the news, and the news does something completely opposite. So like I said, we see a market structure break right here. Okay, you know what? Price is going to be continuing a push to the downside. What I like to do is I like to wait for the news. And as you can see, boom, right? We get the 8:30 news. We see price push up. Don't panic. Don't react. Stay calm and stay relaxed. What you're doing here is you need to wait for a candlestick close, because the news can create a wick, right? And if you buy right as the news is coming out, you could literally get in right here, and all of a sudden price just, drop all the way down or completely reverse. So I like to wait for a break or a close. I like to wait for a close of candle and just see how the next few candles respond, right? So we have the next candle, right, which came out bearish, right? And this is where, for me now, this is the market making the first move. The obvious move was sellers, but now price has shown that it wants to push to the upside. So what you have to do is remember that the market has done this. All you simply have to do now is wait for your opportunity to get involved in price, and I call that premium price. When the market makes the first move, it will move in a particular direction very aggressively. You wait for premium price, and premium price is right now we're seeing sellers completely come into the market. And also, this is my strategy, the accumulation and distribution, as you know. So we're trading back into the zone right there. You're simply waiting for price to do its thing and give you a nice entry point. Now personally for me, I could get in right there and say, okay, you know what, this right here is good enough for me, or wait for the bearish momentum to start to die down, right? So these are some options. We're getting quite a bit of a dip down here, and we're seeing the bearish momentum fade. So this could be an opportunity where you say, hey, you know what, I think I'm going to get involved, because the news, the momentum from the news has faded, and right now you can place your stop loss right there. And from here, this could be your first take profit if you don't want to do the 30 pip exit, which is what I normally do. And you can look to see how much further price is willing to run. And what we have here is we get involved and we start to see price move in our favor. And all we simply did was we waited and we became a hunter, right? We didn't get involved in the obvious move, right? Which would have been to go short, because that was a trap. So ladies and gentlemen, always remember, when the news is coming out, there is going to be at least one or two obvious moves that price action is going to set up for you. And I always call those moves monkey see, monkey do. Whatever you see, you do. If you're not experienced in this game, it's going to get you involved in the trade right before the news. And I always say, hey, if you can maintain the patience of a hunter, you have the ability to sit on the sidelines, wait for price to make the first move, and then get back in with premium price, and then take price to where the market is going. So when it comes to trading the news, those are the two main concepts. Have the patience of a hunter. Don't let FOMO guide you, and just let the market make the first move, right? Let the news come out, and once the news come out, wait for a candlestick close, wait for two, look for premium price, and then get back in the game, right? If you have any questions, leave a comment down below, but take this to the chart, go over data, start to look at how the news came out in the past and some of the ways that you can actually trade it effectively. Make sure you backtest this strategy and just take it over to the chart, right? And see what you learn from it. So those are the main things that you have to focus on when it comes to trading the news.